the whole situation is wrongly dealt with around the world, because even the Me Too movement here in America has gone in a really not helpful direction, in terms of we've got to arrest these people, we've got to put them in jail, we've got to prosecute them and put them away, and then that will solve the issue. That solves absolutely nothing. The solution that I work with and that I found and that I keep saying to people is, each individual, whatever you experienced, you have to process it yourself. Find a trained counselor, because not all counselors and therapists are trained in this. This is part of also the problem. Mental health, a lot of mental health workers have no idea what they're doing in this area. They don't understand sexual energy. They're not taught anything. They're just taught, you do this, you touch here, you do that, you're wrong. It's against the law, stop. That's their training, stop. It's like, okay, let's take an atom bomb and start it in process, and then say, now atom bomb, over here, you stop. I'm telling you to stop. What is the atom bomb going to do? Nothing. It's going to continue till it explodes. Right. So that is what the situation is here. Yes. And so now we're dealing with the fallout of the atom bombs exploding. And of course, Bhagwan didn't really help in these circumstances, because his message, especially in the beginning, was just go for it. Everybody just go for it. Just do whatever you do. Bless his heart, I'm not blaming him. He didn't know either what to do. And the only way I learned was by running around the world, seeking out teacher after teacher after teacher and teacher after teacher, and learning myself. And finally, this is the solution. Each person has to deal with whatever circumstance they found themselves in. They have to take themselves to someone who can help them process the memories. Maybe it's EMDR, maybe it's some kind of brain training, maybe it's et cetera, plus conscious counseling. These two combinations, right? Some people can do it just through the talk therapy and movement exercises. Some people need a process like EMDR or some kind of brain reconfiguration with the memories. Everybody's different. But the important thing for people to understand is they need to process this experience themselves with somebody who can guide them properly through it. Because only when we come, in my experience, and this goes for everything, but specifically here, only when we come to our own self-empowerment about a situation we have been victimized in. Both people are victims. Both people. They're victims of their ignorance about their own sexual life force energy. It's not their fault. They were never taught properly. They don't know what they're doing with this energy. We can't take atomic energy and just throw it out to the wind and say, okay, you do your thing, Adam. As you know, we have to carefully contain it, and we have to hone it. We have to learn about it. The scientists have to, manage it with all of these various containers to direct the energy. It's the same thing in the human. It's the energy that creates life. This is a powerful atomic energy we have. And we're not being taught adequately at all on what to do with it. This has been my constant message. I had to spend 50 years of my life learning. I'm still learning. But the 50 years of my life dedicated to this has shown me an immense amount about how to use this energy well, so that we don't end up victimizing people because what is actually the victimization is the energy itself that takes possession of the person and drives them, to release it. I call it, when we don't know anything, I talk about it as the genital sneeze. That's the term I use. The genital sneeze. We get this, and up, chew. That's what most people think sex is. That's what most people identify as orgasm, right?
Yes.
And yeah, it's a genital sneeze. It's a sneeze. There's nothing wrong with sneezing.
No,
but
I get it.
You have to learn that because I use this analogously so people can understand. When you're in a sneeze, you get to a certain point where you can't stop it. It has to come out. One way, either you hold your nose and it comes out, or you blow your nose in a tissue or whatever, but it comes with that force. This is the same on a large level. This is the same that happens to this life force energy, because it's the energy of the universe comes into us through gravity, up our legs, into our trunk, gets stuck in the second chakra because nobody knows what to do with it. And then it gets into this, state where people are so overwhelmed and saturated with it that it literally explodes. Yeah. It has to come out. It's like I also use the analogy of the boiling pot. You take a pot full of water, you want to boil water, and you put the lid on the pot, you put it on a stove, you turn the heat up, and you wait till the lid rattles, and then you come back, turn the heat down, and you've got boiling water. What just happened? What happened was heat. Heat was the igniter of the cellular expansion of the H2O molecule. So the membrane expanded and it changed state and it pushed the lid off. You see, this is what happens here inside of us. The lid is going to be pushed off when you have heat. What is heat? If we take that analogy and we look at the human, heat is stress. Everything is stress. The air is stress. The wind is stress. The rain is stress. People's yelling and screaming is stress. There's stress going. Stress is simply a factor in the universe. But we have to recognize that it's this pressure on the human. That's what the heat is, you see. And the human has energy circulating, and 95% water here, to carry the analogy, but has energy circulating. So, it needs to either rise with guidance, learned meditation guidance, like microcosmic orbit, which is what I teach people to do, or it's simply going to get stuck, in the centers. And then what happens? People get sick. That's causes.
I understand. Are you one of the persons who are trained to work with sexual abuse victims?
Absolutely. I've done it for 40 years of my life.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, but I don't.
Could somebody approach you? Do you still take clients or?
Well, yes, I do, but I'm scheduling now into next year because I have so many people.
Okay.
Which is why I have to keep cutting us short. That's why
But do you have anybody else that you could recommend?
I'm trying to train people. I'm trying my best, but I can definitely tell people, I say, go to the internet in your country and put sexual abuse survivor therapists. Google that, because there are people, they may not do what I do, but at least they can help in this direction. That's what I say to people, right? Because, this is worldwide, of course. As you know, there it is.
Yes, of course.
It's going to continue to explode.
The sannyasin commune was not so different from the big wide world. After all,
Yes.
we thought that we were very different, but No, we had everything there, which the outside world also had. Because I
Right.
mean, we are not an exemption from the atomic processes.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. But we had a unique emphasis onto it, which was a cult leader, Bhagwan, who
Yes.
told us to go
Yes.
for it
Yes.
without like really, he tried his best.
Whatever happened, like 40 years after, uh, what can we do? Can
And
we
this,
not just forgive?
but no, we can't. This
Yeah.
is the process. What I talked about is the pathway to forgiveness. Because forgiveness, and please, you can put this message out to if you want, to people, what I'm
Yes.
saying. Forgiveness can only be authentic if we here are free. We become free of the power of the pain of the abuse. And the only way we can become free inside ourselves of this obsession, this pain obsession with the abuse. I was abused, I was hurt, and nobody's hearing my hurt. I have to say my hurt. This is the first step
Yes.
in saying, I was hurt. Okay, now let's work on the hurt so we can heal the hurt. But you can't just jump to, okay, I'm going to forgive you, because you're still all the hurt that hasn't been processed.
Okay. Yeah, I get that,
It's like digestion. That's another analogy I use. The way
Yes.
we digest food in the body, we've got to chew it. We've got to chew the food. Yeah. Then we have to have the enzymatic activity. The enzymatic activity is the work between the therapist and the client. That's the enzymatic activity. It chews it up.
Yeah.
It adds the stuff in there, to change it.
Yes.
We've got to take the memory pattern and unwind the memory pattern. You don't get rid of the memory. You just replace the relationship to the memory. Right now, for these people, their relationship to that memory, which is here in the neural pathway, is pain. They're both the action person is feeling guilt. Guilt is pain for doing what they did. The victim is guilt for pain for receiving. So we've got to change that relationship to it, to the memory, to one of understanding. To understand that we were all victimized because we had no education. We weren't taught anything. We were playing with an energy that was an atomic energy. And of course, it was going to burn us up. And it did. It burned a hole in our psyche, in our being, in our physiology, in our mental capacity, in our feelings, and in our relationship to the cosmos, to the energy itself. People are terrorized. The main fear that's going on the planet right now, oh my God, terrorists, I'm afraid of terrorists. Oh my God, I'm afraid of COVID. Oh my God, I'm afraid of economy. Oh my God, I'm afraid of war. All of this nonsense, the fear, is because we're afraid of this energy inside of ourselves. Because nobody's guiding us what to do with it. Positively.
Yeah, great.
That's why we make weapons of mass destruction. Because we don't know what else to do but kill ourselves. We're either committing suicide, suicide is dying, not being free. That's suicide to me. That's the definition of suicide. Leaving the body, not being free of this, not feeling the freedom. That's suicide. Or we kill people. We shoot them, we bomb them, we genocide them, and then they die not being free either. Everybody's not, it's freedom. That's the important thing.
Can you comment a little more on that part? I have heard a lot of therapists also say that it is important that you face the perpetrator and kind of confront him and ask him to take responsibility. And and then if he says, yes, okay, I am to blame, I have done this, that should dissolve the situation.
No. Right away, no. No. Who's ever telling this story is not free themselves. They're not free. They don't know the real meaning of forgiveness. I'm not blaming them. I'm not castigating them. I'm just saying, nope, you have a limited education about the process. So that's what I tell them. No. What good does it do if I'm angry and hurt and I go to somebody else who's also angry and hurt and guilty? And they say, oh, yes, I did it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, they're not. They walk away feeling worse, feeling more guilty. They hang themselves. They shoot themselves because they can't absolve their guilt. What have we done? And the other person doesn't believe it either. You can only believe somebody takes responsibility when they are free to claim responsibility. Otherwise, it's just reaction. I come and confront you, bam. I force you to say some, I'm sorry, I'm blah, blah. It's not true. It's not real. It's fake. It's fake. Nobody's healed. What did I do? I processed this myself. I came to fully understand why she did what she did, why Osho did what he did. I processed it. I'm free. So when I went, as you know, I told you the story. I went back to Germany and I talked to this person. I didn't ask her forgiveness. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't forgive her. I didn't say I forgive you because it was done. It was done. I said, I love you. I'm here. I understand what you did. That was the forgiveness. And I'm not angry with you. I don't hold nothing. If I saw her on the street tomorrow, I would embrace her fully. And Osho and everybody else. Because I understand what happened. The understanding is the only thing that leads to compassion. And it's compassion, feeling, oh my God, you couldn't do anything than what you did. One of the teachers in our world, Jesus, was reported to have said, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. That is the most potent statement in the history of humanity. Forgive them, because the forgiveness is built on understanding that they can't do anything other than what they're doing. I'm not angry with Mr. Trump. Yes. I'm not angry with all of this political thing, because they don't know what they're doing. They can only do what they're doing. And I don't say it out of arrogance. Mm-hmm. I say it from understanding that they're in their own world, in their own stuck places. Mm-hmm.
Great.
See? That's the difference.
Yes.
This is an explosion inside of them because it's centuries of genetic conditioning from the females, from the women, who they have this rage, this torrent of anger and frustration at being raped and burned and beaten and just put it, as substandard and second-class citizens and all this kind of stuff. So this rage, this immense rage, is coming out, being funneled into these issues, right? And they think, the women think, all I have to do is make sure that guy goes to prison, or that guy confesses, or that guy says, he's sorry, or he's this or that or the other. That doesn't heal them. I know, because I work with these women. That doesn't heal them. They come to me and they say, why am I not healed? Why am I not okay? So then I have to explain all this to them. This is the reason, this is a work in progress. This is progressive. And the deeper we work, that's why I'm still working on myself in this, because now I'm healing my genetic code. That's what I'm doing in myself.
Mm.
See, that's how I know this. Otherwise, I wouldn't know it. I came up, I said, okay, so now I'm free with everybody. And then what's this thing with the men and the going on? And then through meditation. See, that's why it's not just counseling, just a therapeutic thing. It's also, there has to be a spiritual awakening. It's an ongoing process of healing, because it's centuries of abuse, centuries of this. But the more I do the work, meditation, therapeutic, and then I come to understanding. I see. And yeah, I came to this understanding, which I'll share. I haven't heard it anywhere else, so I don't know if other people have this awareness, but men come out of babies, men come out of female babies. Men come out of female bodies.
Right.
In our human arrangement, the reproduction, yes. Right? Yes. Girls come out. Okay, I have to clinically say, those who identify as male, those who identify as female, and whatever gender they identify, they come out of this basically identifying female body, spirit. Okay. Yeah. So let's just take male, female, just for the sake of ease, so I don't have to keep saying those who identify. Okay. So the boy baby comes out and immediately knows who has the power. Females have all the power because they got birthed from the female. The female feeds them, keeps them alive, changes their diaper. So the underlying message to those who identify as male is, you are powerless to me, who is female, because I have all the power. I have power over you from the very beginning. So they come out to the world with all of these female creatures and looking at them like, they have power. I have to be careful. I'm a little bit in fear of the female because I don't know what she'll do. Right. And unfortunately, but it is the case in many situations, very quickly that male baby is carried many times by another female nurse or whatever to the tip clipper, to the circumciser, and then immediately gets all of this shocking, traumatizing pain of circumcision. But he's still identifying with the female who birthed him. So look what the female can do. She can cut off your prick. I got to be very careful around the female. So centuries, this has never been really processed. I have not heard it said or stated like this anywhere else. That's why I want to put this message out too to the world. Everybody really has to understand this. This is the setup. So why have men grasped power, patriarchy, through the centuries and persecuted females? Because of their inner rage against the female who caused them all this pain. The pain of the birth process, going through the birth canal, where they had a struggle to get out to begin with, feeling powerless from the beginning because she has all the power. And then if they got their prick cut, then damaged prick on top of it. Is there any wonder why the male raped and pillaged and tortured women? No. It's really understandable. They didn't know what else to do with their rage, and they created wars to channel the rage, to get their own self-empowerment. Where the female doesn't need to get her own empowerment, because even if she's pushed down, she knows she's the queen. She's the birther. She continues the species. If you do anything to me, you're never going to have any kids, is the threat. You see? So what we understand fundamentally, this setup, it can change with conscious awareness. It can change the whole set of attitudes. So then it becomes a different basis of relating male to female, or whatever gender to whatever gender. But it comes to a different understanding of, okay, so all of us have been wounded. Every single one of us, no matter what gender we are, we've been wounded. So let's all work together to greater healing. Let's work on this together, all together, so we can heal ourselves. That's my passionate message to people. Let's heal ourselves. Let's stop shooting ourselves. Let's stop dropping bombs on ourselves. Let's stop yelling and screaming at ourselves, making laws that torture people. Let's stop. Otherwise, if we don't stop, we go extinct again. This is the sixth. Some people say it's the sixth. Some people say it's the seventh mass extinction of humanity, because we haven't learned these lessons of how to live with the plant kingdom, live with the rest of the animal kingdom. And I always say to people, I don't see a chimpanzee making a bomb. I don't see an orangutan shooting anybody. What are we doing? If we use this aggression, instead of directing it in war, like make love, not war, directing it in terms of utilizing it like ancient cultures did, utilizing the circulation of the energy to build and grow, we're still going to, this body thing is going to go back into the earth one way or the other, through viruses, bacteria, or simply just disintegration, because we're advancing so strong into another form, another expression. It's going to happen, because that's what happens on the planet. But if we look at the whole dying death thing, not as this horrible, horrible situation, but as the natural process of evolution ourselves, it's another aspect of evolution, right? Yes. And we can look, like the virus, like this whole attitude we have toward COVID, the COVID virus is our enemy. We have to get rid of it. We have to kill it. We have to destroy it, right? And I'm saying, what the fuck? The COVID virus is here to teach us. To teach us. It gives us the opportunity to learn how to adapt. This is where we can use our wise energy to adapt to it. And people now, I've been saying this for 2 years, that this virus is here and it will stay. There's no eradication. This is stupid, right? I've been saying it. Now they're talking about it as an endemic, finally. Instead of pandemic, it's endemic, which means, yep, it's here. We got to figure out how to live with it. Whether people get boosters every single month, or they start improving their own immune systems, to adapt to this viral activity, whatever path they choose. We're living with this, you see? And did it cause a lot of deaths? Yeah, it thinned the herd. It thinned the human herd. Finally, we got something going on with the overpopulation. And I'm not, gleefully happy these people died. I'm just saying, if we look at it from a different perspective, we can understand it differently. We don't have to be afraid of all these things. We're living in such fear, which is killing our immune systems. That's what's really killing our immune systems, because it's in sympathetic nervous system overdrive. Too much adrenaline and cortisol in the system. It's just not designed to do that. It's going to explode. Let's try something different here. Let's try to look at things from a bit different perspective because we haven't changed very much. In 2021, we're still killing masses of people, one way or the other, right? We're killing their spirits. Nobody wants to live. Nobody has hope anymore. We're killing their ideologies. We're killing their people don't have the spirit to even want to live. It's massive tragedy. So I say, let's try something new. Not new, but let's try something else. This is something else. A different way of looking at the whole thing.